The Love Story. Chapter 1. The First Encounter. It was a crisp autumn day when Olivia first laid eyes on Ethan. The golden leaves floated gracefully to the ground as the sun cast its warm glow over the city park. Olivia, a young artist with a passion for painting landscapes, had decided to take her canvas to the park that day, hoping to capture the beauty of fall. Ethan, on the other hand, was a writer, someone who thrived on observing the world around him and weaving stories from the mundane. He had been visiting the park regularly for weeks, searching for inspiration for his latest novel. It was here, amid the laughter of children and the rustle of the leaves, that their paths first crossed. Olivia sat on a bench adjusting her easel when a gust of wind sent her hat tumbling onto the grass. She reached out to catch it but missed. And before she could stand up, a hand appeared, offering her the hat. She looked up, startled to meet the eyes of a stranger. Ethan. "Thank you," she said, a smile playing on her lips. "No problem," he replied, his voice calm yet warm. "I've seen you here before, painting. Your work is beautiful." Olivia blushed, unused to receiving compliments. "I'm just trying to capture the moment," she said shyly. "It's easy when the world looks like this." Their conversation drifted effortlessly from art to literature, both finding comfort in the familiarity of shared passions. It wasn't long before Ethan asked if he could sit beside her while he wrote. Olivia agreed, and for the rest of the afternoon, they shared space in a quiet companionship, their lives unknowingly beginning to intertwine. Chapter 2. The slow bloom. Days turned into weeks, and Olivia and Ethan continued to meet in the park. What started as casual conversations soon deepened into a genuine connection. They found in each other a kindred spirit, someone who understood the world in much the same way. Ethan admired Olivia's passion for capturing beauty through her art, while Olivia was enchanted by Ethan's ability to make ordinary moments seem extraordinary with his words. They began to spend more time together, walking through the park, visiting art galleries, or grabbing coffee at the local cafe. As they got to know one another, Olivia noticed Ethan's quiet intensity, how he seemed to be always thinking, always lost in his own mind. She could relate to that. She too often lost herself in her thoughts while painting. Despite their growing friendship, Olivia held back from revealing too much of herself. Her past was a tangled web of heartbreak, family troubles, and dreams that had been stifled. She didn't want to bring those things into the light just yet. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon and the park grew quieter, Ethan asked her a question that took her by surprise. "What's your biggest dream, Olivia?" For a moment, she was speechless. No one had asked her that in a long time. She'd buried her dreams deep within, too, afraid to reach for them. To be an artist. To have my own gallery. One day, she said softly, "But I'm not sure I'm good enough." Ethan turned to her, his gaze steady and kind. "You are good enough. I believe in you." His words lingered in the air long after they had left, planting a seed of hope in Olivia's heart. Little did she know, Ethan was beginning to feel something more than friendship, a quiet yearning that he had yet to admit even to himself. Chapter 3: The Confession. The turning point in their relationship came one evening in early winter, just as the first snowflakes began to fall. Olivia had been working on a new painting, a piece that seemed to capture the melancholy beauty of the season. She invited Ethan over to her apartment to see it, unsure of how he would react. As he stood before her painting, his eyes softened. "It's beautiful," he said. "It speaks of longing, of waiting." Olivia hesitated before answering. "It's a piece about unspoken love," she confessed. "About two people who can't bring themselves to say how they feel, but know it's there." Ethan turned to her, his heart racing. The words felt like a punch to the chest. Was she talking about them? Or was this just an abstract interpretation? Before he could say anything, Olivia continued, her voice trembling. "I've never been good at expressing how I feel. But I think I'm scared, Ethan. Scared that if I admit it, it'll all fall apart." Ethan took a deep breath. "Olivia, she looked up at him, eyes wide. "You're the first person I've allowed myself to trust in so long. I don't want to lose that, but I can't ignore what I feel. And think I think I'm falling in love with you." The words hung in the air, fragile yet powerful. Ethan's heart swelled, his mind scrambling to catch up with the overwhelming rush of emotion. "I love you too," he said, his voice barely a whisper. "I've been falling in love with you from the moment we met." They stood there in the soft glow of the lamplight, their worlds colliding in that instant. It was a moment of clarity, of understanding that would change everything. Chapter 4: The Struggles. Though their love blossomed, it was not without its challenges. Both Olivia and Ethan had baggage they hadn't fully dealt with. Olivia's fear of being vulnerable and Ethan's unresolved issues with his past relationships. As their relationship deepened, so did the tensions. Olivia's walls, built over years of heartbreak, began to rear up whenever Ethan pushed too hard, and Ethan's need for space often clashed with Olivia's desire for closeness. One evening, after an argument over a miscommunication, Olivia stormed out of Ethan's apartment, feeling both hurt and confused. She needed time to think, but her heart ached as she walked down the empty streets. She had always been afraid of losing control, of opening herself up to someone completely. And now, it seemed, she might have been right all along, but Ethan wasn't willing to give up. He loved her too much to let her go. The next morning, he showed up at her door with a single red rose and an apology. "I'm sorry," he said, looking into her eyes with a sincerity that melted her heart. "I know I hurt you, but I need you to know that I'm here. We can figure this out together." Olivia felt the walls inside her begin to crumble, and she let herself fall into his arms. For the first time, she realized that love wasn't about being perfect, it was about growing together, accepting each other's flaws, and never giving up. Chapter 5. The Promise. Months passed, and Olivia and Ethan's relationship continued to grow stronger. They learned to navigate the complexities of love, with all its ups and downs. They learned to communicate better, to understand each other's needs, and to support one another through their individual struggles. One summer evening, as they sat on the roof of Olivia's apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky in shades of pink and orange, Ethan took Olivia's hand in his. He looked at her with a tenderness that made her heart flutter. "Olivia," he began, his voice filled with emotion, "I don't have all the answers, but I know one thing for sure. I want to spend the rest of my life with you." Olivia's eyes widened, her breath catching in her throat. "Ethan, I know we've had our challenges," he continued, "but we've made it through everything together. I promise to always be here for you too, support you, and to love you every day. For the rest of our lives." Tears welled up in Olivia's eyes as she nodded. "I love you too, Ethan, with all my heart." And in that moment, as they held each other close, they knew that their love was something worth fighting for. Through every storm and every sunny day, they had found something beautiful and rare, a love that would last a lifetime. Chapter 6. The Future. Years passed, and Olivia and Ethan built a life together. Olivia's art flourished, her paintings displayed in galleries across the country, and Ethan's novels became bestsellers. But more than their careers, it was the quiet moments. They shared cooking dinner together, laughing over shared memories, and holding each other at night that made their love enduring. They traveled the world, creating memories in cities and countries they had always dreamed of visiting. They grew old together, with the same passion and love that had brought them together in the first place. And as they sat together on a park bench, just like they had all those years ago, watching the world go by, they knew that their story wasn't just a love story, it was a life story, one they would continue to write, page by page, hand in hand, forever. The end.